Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Understanding Behavior live stream. We've got a special guest on here tonight, probably a familiar face. Welcome, Christal, to the live stream. How are you doing tonight, Christal?
Hey, I'm good. How's everybody?
Hey, hey, hey,
It's a
good.
Monday. It's a
Yeah,
Monday, but it's okay.
it's a Monday, but it's okay. Absolutely, that's a good theme for today. um, Sweet. Yeah, thanks for everyone who is smashing the like on the video. Appreciate you. Wow, this is shaping up to be one of our biggest streams of all time. So thank you so much for being here to make this event as special as we intended, and actually bigger than we intended. Did we intend to get this thing tonight, Crystal? We got 60 people here already. Did we intend to get
Woo.
this thing tonight, Crystal? We got 60 people here.
Yeah, I had my thing muted, but it still came on voice anyway. Yeah, and I look like I'm a little bit delayed, so we'll have to bear that in mind.
Gotcha. I think you should be good on the stream. But let's see. Let's see. Let me know how we are working some tech issues a little bit. So let us know how things are going, and if there's any issues and ways that we can make this smoother, we can make adjustments on the fly. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. We talking graphs. That's the theme. So we're gonna look into some of the weirder graphs, and we're trying to like this to have this kind of like more conversational, as like a back and forth conversation that you can kind of like sit back and enjoy. There'll probably be a little bit less active responding tonight, but if you guys do have any questions about the graphs that we're looking at, we are more we would love to take them essentially. And our record for our streams, we've never broken 77 concurrent viewers, but I'm looking at our stream right now, and we are at 75 concurrent viewers. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. Why don't we just start this off with like a fun giveaway? What do you think, Crystal?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, we've never had this strong of a start to a stream, so I think that is warranted for a giveaway from the start. How about we start with a copy of the Beat the Beast mock exam? Tonight, we will absolutely be giving away a copy of the mini mock package as well, so stay tuned for that. These mini mocks rule because they are like all super thorough scenario questions that are really tough and get you thinking. But for now, we're going to give away a copy of our signature Beat the Beast mock exam. It has 4.91 out of 5-star reviews with 22 reviews. That is pretty strong. Thanks for everybody who's been leaving reviews recently. And let's go ahead and give away a copy here. When it
Check
will,
those numbers.
yeah. I know the data don't lie. The content is good. The content is good. All right. Well, anyway, how about we do? We'll do a random number drawing. So if you were not, let's go ahead and pick a number. We have a lot of people here. We are up to 85 viewers now, Crystal. How
Nice.
about let's do a number 1 to 750. And yeah, let's get a little fancy tonight. And the closest number is going to win the first copy of the Beat the Beast mock exam. So anywhere from 1 to 750. Please, only one number per person. If you have multiple guesses, you will be disqualified. Whoa, that is a lot of numbers. And please, if you already have this mock exam, or you don't need it, if you don't plan on taking it yourself, then please refrain from participating. Wow. Okay, I've never seen this many numbers. We might need to figure out a better system for this. All right. Well, let's give it like 5 more seconds. Yeah, this is crazy, guys. Absolutely crazy. Y'all are wilding out here. Well, let's go ahead and get our number generator set up here. Chris, I can share you my full screen so you can see this too.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
yeah. Sorry, we are figuring things out here. 91 concurrent viewers here. Okay, let's say Alyssa Bonfim is the last person here. Our number is 328. Give me a moment as I find our closest here. I see Moses Lynn at 333. That is pretty close. Okay, we're at 328. Who's closer? Anybody? Oh, we see Kira also had 333. Ooh, that is a tie at 333. Is anybody closer? Are you saying anything, Crystal?
I don't see. I saw a little further out, but I think your 333 is closest so far.
Yeah.
Yep, I
Oh,
think.
Danielle had 322. That is 6 away. The other one's only 5
Yeah.
away. All right. Well, I say we do a battle for this one. So Moses Lynn and Kira both have the same number. Let's do a battle. So how about you guys do a 1 to 100 battle? Both Kira and Moses Lynn, give me a number. We're bringing up the intensity here. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, wait, Kira says she won last time.
Oh, Kira won last time? All right, sweet. Well, it looks like we have a winner. Congratulations to Moses Lynn. Okay, thanks so much, Kira, for giving it to somebody else for already winning recently. Yay! Awesome, awesome, awesome. Congratulations to Moses Lynn. You are the winner. We do not have to do our death spin, even though I was kind of excited for it, to be honest. But congratulations. To claim your mock exam, just send me an email at understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com after the stream, and I will get to your mock exam. Well, this is a super hype event already. If you are feeling generous, or if you feel like you have like a little bit more funds to spare, I would definitely recommend checking out the mocks and the mini mocks. We have the ultimate mock bundle, which contains both of them for just $115. If we get a bunch of sales during this stream, we'll probably give away more cool stuff, but we'll give away at least a mini mock package. Actually, we've never given away an ultimate bundle before. Maybe that might be fun. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know.
Let's see if we can break 100.
Yeah, maybe if we can break 100. I mean, it's looking good. We're at 96 right now. We're definitely giving away some minis tonight. All right, how about we actually like talk about behavior analysis? Let's get a little fun stuff. Like, I know the giveaways are fun for you guys, but the behavior analysis, that's what's fun for us. So our plan for tonight is we are going to go over a few graphs. Crystal pulled up these graphs for us to check out tonight. She pulled up some weird ones, so we're getting to like some strange territory over here. So yeah, we're gonna go over different types of graphs tonight. We're gonna talk a little bit about like usages. We're gonna analyze some of the graphs as well. And if you would like to continue on stream on Thursday, we are gonna go into experimental design and do a little bit more of a deep dive into all of our different experimental designs and when we should use them. So that's going to be a really fun one. I know you guys have been begging for that, so I'm coming to deliver. All right. Well, Crystal, why don't you tell us about this first type of graph? What is this?
Oh my gosh. So I asked you to do if we could talk about celeration and celeration charts because it came up in our last Wednesday night class and I just don't understand them. I'm going to be flat up honest with you. I'm good at math. I'm good with charts and graphs, but for some reason I cannot get celeration graphs in my head. So please help me out, help everybody else out, and tell us about this thing.
For sure, for sure. I'm trying to get it so I can like pin zoom on top of this because you're like going behind when I was getting to my notes. Like I said, I apologize. We are figuring this out tonight. Crystal might have to get hidden for a second. I'm gonna give that another go in a minute. So yeah, let's check out this. What we have here is a standard celeration chart, and I know you guys have probably seen these and you probably hate them. What's really nice to know, and what I'm going to start off with, is that you do not need to know these for the BCBA exam. You should be able to recognize them. So if you see like this really funky graph that has so many different things on it, then you should be like, yep, that's a standard acceleration chart. But much beyond that, you don't really need to know a whole lot. But we're getting really nerdy tonight, so we're going to talk about them anyway. What you should know, so bare minimum about the standard acceleration chart, is that this is something that we use in precision teaching. So what we're doing in precision teaching is essentially we're looking at like free operant behaviors, and we're looking at a fluency measurement. Christal, do you know about fluency?
Yeah, we talk about fluency with like learning sight words or learning math facts and learning SAF meds and all that kind of stuff for
Yeah.
sure.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, if you did SAF meds in school, especially, you probably learned about fluency. Let's see in chat. Does anybody know what fluency is in chat? It's a combination of two different measurement systems. What is that? Fluency. And while we're going through that, while you guys are trying to answer that, let's talk a little bit about what we're doing in precision teaching. So usually we're looking at a free operant response. So think about like if you have your flashcards, then your set of your flashcards, like you can go through like any flashcard at any time. You don't necessarily have to go in order. Like people can usually go in order, but you can just pick up any flashcard and do that if you wanted to. All right, yeah, we're getting some good answers in chat. I'll let you guys keep going on that. I'll keep the mystery alive a little bit longer. So what we're gonna do is what we want to measure the number of correct responses and the number of incorrect responses, and usually we do this like within a timing. So SAF meds, it stands for say all fast for a minute every day shuffled. I can't believe I actually got that. That was like kudos to me. So usually what you have is a 1 minute timing for that. And what it's doing is you're checking out your fluency. Many of you got this in chat. Very nice. So fluency is a combination of rate and accuracy. So by getting that rate, we have the speed of the behavior, how fast they're getting correct or incorrect responses. And then to get that accuracy, we're taking the number of correct responses divided by not the number of incorrect responses, but the total number of responses that were made. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to get the screens adjusted nicely. Well, we're probably just going to have to shuffle them around a lot. I'll try to keep my eye on it best I can. But excuse me if I have things covered, and feel free to draw it to my attention at any time, too. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this chart now. So some kind of like weird features of the chart. First of all, is that you might notice that on the x-axis, like we usually have a unit of time, and this one is our successive calendar days. So kind of interesting. So you can see like when data is not being measured, if there is no data point on a particular day, because we're seeing successive days, not just like the sessions that they have. So they will actually have breaks on weekends or whenever like there's not sessions or data collection being taken. Another really weird feature that is important to note about a standard acceleration chart is that the y-axis works in a semi-logarithmic way. So let's go ahead and look at that and see what this means. So semi-logarithmic, it means like semi-exponential. So if that word logarithmic is confusing for you, if you can just replace that with exponential, and that works out pretty decently. So let's look at this real quick. We have over here, like our first, it starts at 1, and then the next dash here is 5. Then it's like a smaller amount of space, and this goes to 10. But note in like this next bigger amount of space, this goes all the way to 50. But the same distance from 1 to 5 was the same amount of distance from 10 to 50. So it's like semi-exponentially is how it's working out over here. Then you can see how it scales up. So the next set of dashes leads to 100, and then it leads up to 500. And the reason for that is that if we see when we look at behavior that is like occurring or like they can like increase at really fast rates, sometimes we need this better scale, and that allows us to see like the multiplication a little bit better. And people are noting in chat that, yes, we have broken 100
Yeah.
concurrent viewers here. We're actually at 101 right now.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here and making this such a special stream. I mean, our next giveaway is going to have to be like the ultimate mock bundle, right? I mean,
I think so.
like we're gonna have to talk about some more graphs first, and like do more behavior analysis before that. But I mean, we gotta give away that mock bundle. It's gonna be cool
For sure.
for sure.
Let's
For
get some
sure.
likes and shares too. Can we get some likes and shares?
Yeah, I think that'd be great too. Like, there's 48 likes on this video. I mean, that's like half. That's less than half the people here. You know, I know. It's like Crystal's got her sad face on. Like, I think we could get like Crystal's smile like a little bit farther up, like with some more likes. Like, come on, let's make Crystal happy here.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So yeah, again, the semi-logarithmic part of this is that we see this move up in like a semi-exponential way. So we see like these dashes 1 to 5. It's the same distance from 10 to 50, just a little bit higher on that graph. So it's a really weird feature. Next up, so it's a standard celeration chart. So we should probably talk about like what celeration is. You can think about celeration as like acceleration. But we can also, but what's nice about this word celeration is that it talks about acceleration, but it can also talk about deceleration. So on standard celeration charts, we can look at both acceleration and deceleration. What this is looking at essentially is how fast something is increasing or decreasing over time. So obviously acceleration is going to be that it's going to be increasing very quickly over time. Deceleration is going to be decreasing very quickly over time. So what we see over here, and we're not going to talk about like how to calculate this, but if you are good at algebra, it should make some sense. What we look at is like the lowest data point and the highest data point and how many days it took to get there. And then what we'll do is we'll take like that multiplier. So if we multiplied the beginning number by this number every day, then we'd eventually get to this number. So it's saying that if we started at this 10 here, we multiplied it by 1.12 for 53 days, then we'd eventually get to our increased acceleration to this rate. So I know, Crystal, you were the one who wanted to bring up standard acceleration charts. Is there anything else that I can help point out about this chart for you, or that's confusing about it?
And then the data points that have a decreasing trend line, those are the errors, right? So we have increasing correct responses and decreasing errors. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question and great thing to point out. So remember, we're looking at the number of correct responses and incorrect responses. So what we want to see over time is that these corrects are increasing, and then we see the incorrects are decreasing over time. So we can see like by the end, they're often only making 1 or 2 errors, which is nice. And you can also see like instead of this being a multiplier, it's actually a divider. So you start at this high number and then divide by 1.21 for every one, and then you'll eventually get down to the average. And then this is taking the average, so you can see like that line here. What they do is they draw like the 2 standard deviations, which are these dotted lines, and then the actual trend line is the celeration. And you can actually like think about celeration as similar to trend. It's like how fast it's increasing over time. Like trend can add a number to it by like showing like how fast or quickly it's increasing. So in that case, it's actually the same thing as celeration.
Awesome.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? Actually, yeah, kind of neat thing there. Well, anyway, main thing to point out is you don't need to know these for the BCBA exam. So if this chart really overwhelms you, you're in luck because you don't need to know it. But precision teaching is a really cool tool. It's something that I wish I learned or I knew a little bit more about, and something I probably will explore a little bit more in my career because it is a very effective teaching tool. If you want to look at like a really cool application of precision teaching, I would check out either the Morningside Academy or Fit Learning. Both of them are accelerated learning for math and reading programs. So Morningside, for example, I think their guarantee is that they will get any student up 3 grades in either math or reading in 1 summer, or your money back, because like their just methods are so behavior analytic and so good. Fit learning is kind of similar. It's meant to teach really any child, so neurotypical or neurodivergent. And they promise really strong results in bringing up math and reading scores using precision teaching techniques. So really cool stuff. And like a business like that is also very profitable. So if you're like, I don't want to do standard ABA, I want to do something cooler, there's not very many people doing that, and it's something that's going to be in high demand. So something that you might want to look into.
Cool.
Alrighty. Let's go ahead and look at our next graph here. This one's kind of a mess. What kind of graph is this, Christal? What are you doing to us?
So here we have a scatter plot graph. And yeah, this is one of those, it's another weird one. We don't see it very often. It's not one of the ones that we typically see in mock questions. So I wanted to talk about scatter plot graphs. And I love how there's that line through and you can make all these judgments. So yeah, let's talk about this.
Yeah, for sure. So key to really like looking at any graph is we gotta look at our labels first. So let's look at this. So we have speed in miles per hour on our bottom axis. And then we have following distance in meters. Okay, and then in our legend, we have young females, young males, middle females, and then older of both males and females. Okay, so interesting. So this is kind of like a correlational graph, right? So,
yeah, this one is for sure. And I like how it's divided between safe and at risk.
Yeah, I always think like it's kind of funny, like this, like these definitions are like kind of arbitrary, but you gotta like set the line somewhere. But so I think it is neat that they did that too. So let's look at like, okay, and this is probably actually pulled from like guidelines, like driver's guide, teaching guidelines. Good thing I'm not a driving instructor. I'm not a good driver. So this data probably is meaningful. So let's go ahead and look at this. So it's saying that if you're going 35 miles an hour, that safe distance is like 30 feet away or 30 meters away. Okay. So that's a pretty far distance. So it's saying, let's look at this. So the males are the dark, and then the females are the opens, it looks like. So it's kind of like helpful to like look at those patterns in here. Like this was kind of hard to read until we like find like that kind of pattern here. So now let's look at like, we can compare male and female. Who is typically more safe here? So let's look at this at-risk area. What do you think? Do you think, Christal? Do you think we see more male or female in the at-risk section here?
It looks to me, without counting them, that there's actually more female than that at risk.
Yeah, that's actually a surprising data point. I did not expect that.
Yeah. It's not how I thought it would be either.
Yeah, interesting. So yeah, this one I would definitely say I would agree here. I think if we count these up real quick, even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like there's clearly more than 11 open ones here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So a little bit more. And let's also look at like the name of this study. So that can also like tell you a little bit more about the study. This one says a technology to measure multiple driving behaviors without self-report or participant reactivity. Okay, so kind of interesting. I wonder like what their methods actually were, but it seems like when they actually did that measurement, it's kind of cool. I actually had a colleague that she does behavioral consulting on her own now, and she's like a PhD, badass, super researcher. And she was actually consulting with Michelin tire drivers and had like safety devices, or like they had devices like in their vehicle that had like GPS and could like track their speed and like hard braking and stuff like that. And then she implemented behavior-based safety measurements try to like decrease those relevant behaviors, but also, the more important part was actually she was incentivizing safer driving, and like the truck drivers were getting awesome rewards for being safe, and then like the company saves money because they're not killing people by having like trucks flip over less.
Right,
Like
for
even like
sure.
because even think about like 2 trucks saved a year. Like that's huge. Like it's 2 lives first of all, and possibly more with any kind of crash, and and obviously like if you crash a huge truck that has a huge payload and everything gets ruined, like that can cost a lot of money too. So really cool stuff, and yeah, it's always neat
I
to
thought
kind
it
of like
was really
explore.
interesting too that this was from Java. So,
Yeah.
it says ABA scatterplot, but when you look down at where it came from and the name of the study, this is from Java and they're talking about following distance and speed in miles per hour. So it doesn't have to just be behaviors that are happening with children that are being written about in Java. So I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was in grad school, Ron Van Houten was an instructor. You might have heard his name. He wrote the article that's Clients' Rights to Effective Behavioral Treatment. Really important ethics article. If you're not familiar with that one, I'll try to even pull it out. But his lab, he was really focused on traffic safety as well, and he was looking at signage to like signage in like high traffic areas with pedestrians and which ones are most effective and stop pedestrians from getting hit. And then he actually worked with like the Michigan Department of Traffic and like worked on like different I think it was like the traffic light like timings like how long
Wow.
it's on red and yellow and green and stuff, and like having those be more adaptive. So really cool stuff, and like you don't think about it and unless you actually think about it. But like a lot of these like things that like control societal behavior are extremely important too.
Yeah,
um, and like need our eyes like to be most effective.
for sure. So we've got people asking, or there, I believe I saw a question about when would we use a scatter plot. So the next example, I don't know if you're done with this one, but the next
Yeah.
example is something that looks more like something that we're probably going to use. So this is just the data sheet. It hasn't been put into a graph yet, but this is what the data sheet might look like for something that you would then put into a scatter plot graph.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, in typical like ABA scatter plots, what we're gonna look at is like where a behavior is occurring in time. So this chart does that really nicely. Again, like the start to any chart analysis, we always need to look at our key. So we have an empty box means that no headbanging occurred. A slash means that 1 episode of headbanging occurred. And then our blackout box means that 2 or more episodes of headbanging occurred. And we see each of our blocks here are 29 minutes. Or so. Yeah. Are they all 29? Yeah, they're all 29 minutes. So that is nice. Keeps that unit equal. So what's really cool about a scatter plot is that it tells you like when in time the behavior is occurring. So this can help you like kind of plan your observations or look at it, and because like if behavior is occurring only in this block, then something is probably happening differently than in this block than in the other blocks. So if we kind of go observe and contrast the 2 different scenarios, then we can kind of identify like what those controlling factors are. Um. So yeah, like, have you ever used scatterplot data for your clients, Crystal?
I have. We've used some scatterplot data to find out what times of day and around what times of day certain behaviors were happening. And it looked very much similar to this for sure. And then we were able to figure out what some of the antecedents were that were common to that particular time of day and work from there to figure out how to manage the behavior.
Heck yeah, love it, love it, love it. And what's kind of cool, or one helpful technique that I found like with scatter plot data is if you're going to plan like your observation, do it a little bit before the behavior occurs. That way you can kind of see like the change in environment. So like, oh, this changed, rather than like, oh, I'm in this setting now, and like I didn't see the change, but there are some variables going on. So kind of a cool tip for scatter plots and your or like planning your observations is come a little bit before so you can see that transition into what actually triggers it. So if I were to come here, like it looks like most of our behavior occurs around like 12:30, 1 o'clock. So I might plan my observation to come at like 12:15, start my observation and see what's going on to see that transition in. Alrighty. Well, I mean, we've got 105 people here. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Like, we've checked out a few graphs. Why don't we give away that ultimate mock bundle now?
Yes.
Crystal, what number should we make it out of for the random drawing?
Oh my gosh. Let's do 1 to 829.
1 to 829. I love it. All right. So this is for the ultimate mock bundle now. This includes the mini mock package and the Beat the Beast mock exam. If you have recently won one or more of these, please refrain from participating and give it to somebody else so we can have lots of winners. But yeah, this is the first time we've ever given away this full bundle. So special winner for whoever wins this one. It includes both the Beat the Beast mock exam and the mini mocks for mastery. All right. Should we pull it?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Okay. Well, chat's still going pretty hard. Yeah,
Ooh, yeah.
Stephanie's saying the mini mocks are so hard. They are. They are designed to bust your ass. Crystal wrote the section A one. And what's cool about the mini mocks is like they have difficulties on them too. So it's 1 to 5 stars. Crystal's section A mock is a 5-star. She is not messing around there. No, zero messing around. So yeah, check those out. They are awesome.
All right. I think the comments have slowed down. I think we're safe to go ahead and pull the trigger.
Leasha, one number, please. Well, that's going to be our last person here. Let's see. Our number is 75. That's a good number. Okay. Who's got it? I don't see. Everybody's in the hundreds here. Everybody's got 3 digits. Who's got a 2-digit? Oh, Ashley Johnson, 26. That's pretty close. Anybody closer? Oh, wait. Tiffany Banner, 101. I think it might be Tiffany. Let me see. Crystal, anybody else?
Oh, I see a 103. Joyce.
Oh,
Joyce Lee had a 103.
Joyce had multiple guesses, and Tiffany's closer, 101. Oh, yeah. Joyce, multiple guesses. That does not work. 101, I think. Tiffany Banner. That's going to be our winner. Congratulations. You won the full Ultimate Mock Bundle.
Yay.
Woo-wee. So yeah, thank you so much for everybody for being here. This is a hype event. Tiffany, to claim that, just send me an email, understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com, and you will win that. Yeah. I know, Ashley, so close. I was praying for you. All right. Excellent. Well, let's keep trucking along. More content, yes. And I mean, probably more giveaways too. This is pretty fun. Pretty hype. All right. Well, let's keep going. Any other thoughts on the scatter plot, Crystal? What do you think? Should we move along?
Yeah, let me ask you this about the scatter plot. So we've got this great scatter plot data here, right? Do you think, is it essential to put this into a graph? Or can we make the same kind of visual analysis from what we have right here?
You know, like one of my mottos is like, if you're gonna take data or make a visual, like make sure it's useful in like a new way. And honestly, I don't see a reason to put this in a different graph. I think like this actually visually displays what we need really nicely. So I would say no. What do you think?
That's what I was thinking too. I wanted to see your opinion, but yeah, I agree. This like is seems really clear. You've got a good solid chunk of time of day where all the black boxes are kind of clustered around. So yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think it
for
would be any
sure.
more clear to make a graph.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, Roswell's asking, which do you recommend in getting the mini mock or the full mock? Honestly, I would the ultimate mock bundle. It's such a good deal. Because the mini mocks are $99, and then for $16 more, you get the full mock as well. On top of that, so if you're considering the mini mocks, I would just go for the ultimate mock bundle. I think it's totally worth it. Yeah, Arianelia said, I got the full mock to see how it would be for the real deal. The mini mocks are great to see which tasks you need help on. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect.
Totally, totally. But yeah, if you get the ultimate, like, I promise you're going to love it. Sweet. So yeah, I would say no graph for this. Good to go. Any other thoughts here, Crystal?
I think we're good on that one.
I think we are too, yeah. All right, let's check out this next one. What do we got here? Let's make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, what do we got here, Crystal?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were like asking for input from the group. So we have a cumulative graph here, and we have two different cumulative graphs because they were just a little bit different.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a cumulative graph here, and some questions came up on cumulative
Yeah,
the other day as
and
well.
tell everyone, like, what is a cumulative graph or a cumulative record?
So with this cumulative record, one of the key things is your data points are never going to go down. They're either going to go straight across or up because you're always just tracking the cumulative number of correct responses. So you're
Mm-hmm.
never going to dip. So when you have to figure out how many correct responses happened in a particular day or particular time frame, you're going to count from the starting data point to the ending data point. You don't have to worry about it going down and being less and figuring all that out like that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And let's give everybody a question here. So on this graph, what was the first day that the behavior occurred? Let's see what you guys got there. Somebody's asking in chat, can you explain the difference between a line graph and a cumulative record, or how to read them? So yeah, the main thing here that Crystal was just highlighting is that our y-axis, instead of just looking at the number of responses that are occurring on one day, is that we're looking at the number of responses that occurred in total during all of our observations. So let's go look at like day 10, for example. Day 10 is every single instance that has occurred from day 0 up until day 10. And excellent. Yeah, you guys are nailing it on my question too. So I just asked previously, what is the first day that we saw a response? And we see on day 3 is where our first response happened. We had 0 responding on our first 2 days. All right. Cool.
So then
Yeah.
let's follow that up with on what day do we see the next correct response?
Ooh, I like that. I like that. So yeah, we saw our first correct response on day 3. Which day do we see our second one? Oh, you guys are good. All right, at 68 likes. We just need one more.
Yeah, you guys are nailing it. Day 6, absolutely.
Good job. Yeah, sweet. Okay, nobody touched the likes anymore. No more likes on the video. All right, sweet. So yes, we are at 6. Oh, we're at 74 now. Okay, well, I'll take it. That's pretty good.
Hey, Susan, let's explain why it's day 6. Yeah, so if you look at days 1 and 2, and it is a little hard to see because the tick marks are weird. And at days 1 and 2, there are 0 responses. On day 3, there was 1 correct response. But see how it stays even from day 3 to 4 to 5? That means there were no more correct responses on days 4 and 5. The next time your data point goes up is on day 6. So that's how we know that's the next time there was a correct response.
Yep. Yeah, so what you want to look at in a cumulative record is that whenever there is a slope, that means that responding is occurring. And whenever it's flat, that means that no responding is occurring. So there was no change, there's no increase. They didn't engage in any more responses on that day. But their total is still the same because they'll never take away that. They can't like reverse like, oh no, that didn't actually happen. It's like, no, it happened. It's there. So in cumulative record, looking at our total. Christal, have you ever used a cumulative record with a client, or like, do you know like any situation where you might use a cumulative record with a client?
I have never personally used a cumulative record. I know that I mean, it's something that happened a lot with Skinner and the rats and the pigeons, right?
Yeah, for
So, but
sure.
I've never
Skinner loved
personally
his
used
cumulative
them.
records. So like actually back in the day, like how his Skinner boxes worked is that when the rat pressed the lever, it actually moved a pen on a paper up a little bit. So the rat was actually drawing his own graph physically by pushing the lever on these cumulative records. So that's where they all started at, and it was really useful to see like patterns within the Skinner box. As far as like using them for clients, like whenever we're looking, we'll use these graphs like whenever we're looking at like total of number of something. So what can be a nice thing is like looking at like total number of goals or no, total number of objectives mastered on a cumulative record. And usually like we'll see like a slow slope and then it will kind of like increase faster as we progress on and they have more therapy and they get more
Yeah.
accustomed.
We've got some really good questions going in the chat, Nick, if we can pause for a moment.
Yeah,
Somebody asked, so
absolutely.
you wouldn't mark a zero for that. No, you would not come back down and mark a zero. There's zero responding for that day. So the data point, because we're cumulative means total. So we're tracking the total number of responses over this long length of time. So you're not going to mark a zero. It's just going to stay where it was.
Yeah, so essentially, yeah, like Crystal said, if there's no behavior occurring on that day, we just see it flat. So that means there's no change. So think about it as like the change is zero, and then if the behavior is occurring, then we see like the change is going to be one or two or however much that it actually increases within that day. So think about a zero as a change of zero, not actually zero on the chart because we're looking at total and our number is never going to go down on this chart.
Yeah. And then Lillian had a great question too. She's asking about the phase changes here. They go back to baseline. So we go baseline, intervention, then they go back to baseline and then back to intervention again and continue recording responses for the same behavior. But it looks like when they went back to the same baseline, you can see there was only during those 7 days or data, yeah, 7 days of baseline two, there was only one correct response while there was no intervention in place.
Yeah. Yeah, so the reason we can go back to baseline here is that we're just doing a reversal design. So with our chart, we're still not going to take away the responses that they've already did, but we're going to track like if any future responding is occurring. So if we look at this, we can see that there was only one response that occurred within our second baseline, and that actually replicated really nicely from our baseline condition. So if we're kind of like testing for experimental control and we're like comparing our conditions now, our two baselines are actually very similar in pattern to each other,
Yeah.
even though they're on different levels of the chart. Because remember, our cumulative records, we're looking at like how much is increasing with each data point. But yeah, we can still tell if we have experimental control. And yeah, it looks like we are. Yeah, it looks like they actually did. No, they didn't do two interventions. They have the labels here, like baseline 1, intervention 1, baseline 2, intervention 2. This was just like the second baseline and the second intervention phase, but there was only one intervention, it looks like. Yeah, good questions. I love how you guys are breaking down details of these graphs.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, Dora's asking from day 1 to 6, we only saw 2 correct responses. Yeah, that's correct. This would be at 2 right here. Let's see what else we got. Good.
Yeah, Nikki, sometimes you'll see that in a reversal design, you'll see like baseline 1, and baseline 2, intervention phase 1, intervention phase 2. It's just they're demonstrating that they're going, this is basically an AB design using a cumulative graph, right, Nick?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, it's just an A-B design. Arianelli is right on track that we would have experimental control here. What I also want to show you is that like a cumulative record is just one way to display data. We could take this data set and we could just draw a normal line graph and it would display exactly the same data. So if we look at our first data point, so we have 0, 0, then we'd have 1, and then a couple more zeros. So on a normal chart where this is just looking at like number of responses, and excuse me for my terrible drawing here, but these two data paths are actually representing the same amount of data. That there's one data point, there's one instance on day 3, and then 0 instances on every other day. So just know like we could convert this data into a normal line graph just as easily. So just keep that in mind as well, what they look like, whether we're looking at like number of responses or if we're looking at that cumulative number of responses. Cool.
Love it. Love it.
Awesome. Well, let's check out our second cumulative record graph. Yeah.
One of
Do you want to break
the
this one
reasons
down?
I brought this one in is because like the scale of it is so different from the first one, which I thought was really nice to look at as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Do you want to walk us through this one?
Yeah, so this one we're shaping, they're rulers, blocks, and flashlight to spell high. Like, I don't really know what that means. They're spelling high is the key thing.
Yeah.
So the cumulative
Oh, so, yeah, they're
responses,
like forming them out of those different objects. Okay.
that's what I was thinking. Like they're using them to like actually make the shapes of the letters HI. That's what I figured
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so we have minutes across session and cumulative responses. So in minute 1 of the session, how many responses did we see?
Yeah, what do you guys think? So we're looking at responses. This is a weird graph.
It is. Yeah, we're seeing around, you guys are right on. We're seeing around 15. It might be 15, it might be 16. I can't really.
Wait. I think we have it wrong, actually. So the responses here, this is the blue dash lines. If we look at the blue dash line, this is all 0.
Oh, that's tricky. I didn't even like my
Yeah.
eyes are not good. I didn't even see that. So
Yeah, I
the
know. It's not very clear on here. I apologize for that. But yeah, this one is actually, the responses are 0. So yeah, we're straight zeros down here, folks. Oh, they didn't do it at
good
all.
catch.
So what's interesting is, yeah, they're looking at cumulative number of reinforcers now. So they gave them like 42 yeah, it's hard to see that. Like I think like 40-ish reinforcers in 13 minutes, but they didn't get the responding at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's
That's like,
tricky.
what were they providing the reinforcers on? Were they doing like an NCR schedule, or like were they trying to decrease or not get the behavior to occur? It's hard to say.
Yeah, that is so weird. That is so weird. Okay,
Oh,
so
wait.
yep,
I see now. So this is shaping. So they're trying to shape their behavior of moving the rulers into the letters high. So I think they were only using differential reinforcement and they weren't using any instructions. I think that's what was happening. So they provided 40 some reinforcers that were used for shaping of this behavior, but they never actually got the behavior to occur.
interesting.
Yeah, that took me a
This is
second. That's
what
a weird
happens
one.
when you pull up a graph and you don't read the study that it came from, right?
I know, but sometimes I like kind of just like being like the puzzle investigator. I'm like, what is going on here? This is a weird one for sure. But that's definitely what they're doing, is that they're talking about the shaping reinforcers, and if they were actually successful in getting the response, and they were not successful here, But I'm sure if we had more of the data, then hopefully they would be successful. Wow, this is amazing. We have 77 likes on this video already. Like, that's way more than I think we've ever had. So thanks for everybody for still being here. This is awesome. What do you think? Anything else about this graph that we want to talk about?
The only thing, have you guys ever played one of those games where you're trying to get somebody to do a particular behavior, like say you're trying to get them to scratch their nose, and so when they move their hand towards their nose, you smile and nod or
Or
whatever,
like kill laugh,
and
or
then
yeah.
like when they get closer, you give a bigger reaction, and then when they actually like scratch their nose, you're like, oh, you did the thing I wanted you to do. I wonder if this is something along those lines.
It's so like that, actually. So, when I was doing clinical work for a little bit, that's actually like an exercise that I did with some of my RBTs. And the purpose of it is to actually like teach them shaping, because especially when you're working in early intervention, shaping is a really critical teaching tool that every RBT should be very strong at. So you kind of like look at like the differential, like they get a little bit closer to what the behavior, and then you provide more reinforcement, and you kind of like wean off if they're farther from it. That technique is really important. Also, when I taught rat lab back in grad school, like this is the initial procedure to teach a rat. So it's really cool if you think about it. Like you can control an organism's behavior just with like one tool. So like before you were using like the clapping or the smiling, and you can get them to do whatever you desire, and you could just make it up if you wanted. And then with the rat, it's kind of the same thing. It's like at first, like they don't know to press the lever. You have to differentially reinforce the lever pressing. So you need to like get them to be close to it, and then provide water. You need to like wait for them to like put a paw on it, then provide water, and move across like this shaping process where we have like our criteria for reinforcement, and then our like lesser criteria, or like worst behavior that we're putting on extinction. And then we're can get the rat to press a lever just by using a water dispenser. So, and you can get them to do like wicked cool things too. Like you can get them to like put like a little ball through a hoop, and it's just by using like a water reinforcer.
And there's questions about, well, doesn't this mean that they're not actually reinforcing because we don't see correct responses? I think that's why we're asking is, since it's a shaping procedure, even though we're not actually getting a correct response over these 13 minutes, we might be getting closer. So like maybe they're moving the rulers closer to the position we want them to be in to form the sides of the H. And maybe they're moving the block closer and the flashlight closer to where we want them to be in the terminal behavior. So we might not have actually made the word high yet, but they're getting closer and closer to that.
Yeah, absolutely right on track. Yeah, Brittany said it really well in chat. Approximations of that response.
Yeah.
Of that correct response. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, we're like they'll probably be getting closer to it, but not necessarily getting it yet. Like this is only tracking if they did like the full response for it. Cool.
So that was even a weirder one than I thought it was when I picked it.
Yeah, right. It happens. It happens. We're here for it though. I like weird stuff.
Yep.
All right. Let's check this next one. Actually, I'm gonna get this a little smaller. Let me put like a green dot on it for no reason. All right. So yeah, we've got a big bar graph here now. Let's get Christal back up on this screen. So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about this bar graph? I mean, this is a weird one too.
Yeah, so I thought this one was really interesting. We've talked recently about trials criterion as well. So I thought that this was really interesting. Now, I don't know what SDN lesion and combined lesion, I don't know what all of that means, but
Same.
we can make some judgments based on this graph. So we've got the black bars are control, and then the gray bars are whatever it is that we're testing. And then I used to know what that little T shape on top, isn't that like about standard deviation or something like that?
I think it's standard deviation. So it looks like they probably did a bunch of targets for each of these and then average them. Yeah. So yeah, the bottom here is looking at stage. So I don't know what all these different stages are, but it looks like they're kind of like increasing in difficulty. Is what it kind of looks like, and then it's control versus like combined lesion, STN lesion. I thought this was like a typo at first. I thought it meant to say lesson instead of lesion. I'm like, what are you talking about? So yeah, we're looking at trials to criterion. So when we first look at this, like what procedures seem to be faster? Did it seem to be like these experimental lesions or the control procedure? What do you guys think?
Well, you're answering that. Yeah, Arianelia. Yes, we're comparing two different things here. Well, in three different graphs, we're comparing a couple different things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when we're making just like quick comparisons, especially if it's just like a single number comparison, then bar graphs become a really handy tool. I really like bar graphs for like simplifying your data too. So if you're presenting to parents, like if you can present the data in a bar graph, that could be really beneficial because it's just like easy to read. It's just like, yeah, that bar is bigger than the other one. Sweet. I understand that.
The question was, which way are we getting to mastery levels quicker? The control or through the lesion? The
Yeah,
control condition or the test condition? Which way are we getting to trials for criterion quicker?
Yeah, so recap on trials to criterion. Actually, do you want to recap what trials to criterion is for us, Crystal?
Sure. So trials to criterion, we're just counting the number of trials it takes to get to whatever the mastery conditions we've set. So with me being from an education background, I have a lot of IEP goals that might say something like the student is going to do XYZ with 80% accuracy across 3 consecutive sessions. So if I'm counting trials to criterion, I'm counting how many trials does it take until we've hit 80% mastery over 3 consecutive sessions.
Word. Well, Dora came in really clutch with a definition for us too. So,
Nice.
STN lesion is a subthalamic nucleus, a core basal ganglia structure involved in the control of motor, cognitive, motivational, and affective functions. So what they're saying here is that these people have brain lesions, and they're comparing these to control. So now this all makes really a lot of sense. So again, Crystal was saying, so trials to criterion is looking at like how fast they meet certain criteria. So the people without brain lesions tended to meet the criteria faster than people with the brain lesions. That checks out. Our data confirms that it's pretty conceptually systematic with how our universe works.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks for pulling that up for us, Dora, so we can solve that mystery. So, yeah, what we see is that the control clients tend to figure these out a little bit faster than the people with the brain lesions.
Great. So like what kind of other than like presenting data to parents, what are some other common situations where you might use a bar graph instead of a line graph?
Ooh, that's kind of interesting. I would say like if we saw like a really like dramatic shift in a problem behavior, like I might do like a monthly bar, like total instances of problem behavior, and be like, yo, January was crazy. We implemented our intervention in February, and like this bar is way lower. I think like that might be like a really like convincing display of data. Kind of look at like bigger chunks of bigger numbers in general. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Do you have any ideas?
Somebody said something about like preference assessments. I do believe I've seen bar graphs used for preference assessments as well.
You know what? I think the one that you put down here
Yes.
does that really nicely. I always forget
Yes, it
preference
does.
assessments. I say I usually like don't graph my preference assessment data. Like I usually just like look at my data and then summarize it at the end. But I think like obviously the display does make it really pretty and makes it pretty obvious like which are most preferred. So yeah, we have this preference assessment. What kind of preference assessment do you think they did here?
Ooh, that's a good question, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, let's ask chat. What kind of preference assessment do you think they did here? Oh, bless me. Is that a thing? I don't know.
It worked.
I don't know rules.
So yeah, if you're checking that that axis there, number of times item picked, that ought to give it gives somewhat of a clue. There's a couple of different things that we might go
Yeah,
for
yeah,
here,
yeah.
right?
It looks like we have a few different options here. See, a lot of people are saying like multiple stimulus. Some people were pretty mixed, like with or without. Some people are saying with. Some people are thinking without. I don't know. Anybody like? I think this is like a good time for a rationale. Like when we see a split crowd like this. What do you think, Crystal?
I think I would love to see some rationales. We always love seeing rationales.
100%, 100%.
While you guys are giving your rationales for whether you think it's with or without replacement, can we talk about why we think it's probably not free operant? Because I did see quite a few people say free operant as well.
Yeah, I think
We'll talk about why we think it's probably not free operant.
I think that's fair. Do you want to take lead on that?
Yeah, so I would just base on number of times item picked, because typically with free operant you're doing approach, contact, and duration of engagement, right? So because it's saying number of items picked, I would probably go more to the multiple stimulus.
Yeah, I agree. I think like another important thing is like with free operant, our unit of measurement is like mostly duration. And think about like the frequency, like picking an item, like that means like the student could play with that like for 1 second or like a whole minute, and it would still show as one. So I don't think that would be the best measurement there either.
Right.
So yeah, this measurement, I think that gives us tells us it's definitely not free operant. Let's see. So we've got a few rationales here. I'm gonna check some of these out. Brittany says with replacement because they're all on the list for number of times picked out of trials. Okay. We've got. Yeah, Naomi was right on track there. If it was free, we would need duration. Free operant. Good. I think Tiffany P might be onto something here.
Yeah. I gotta scroll back up so
I
can
know.
see that.
I feel like the chat is so wild tonight with so many people. But we'll figure this out. Okay, yeah, Alyssa. So multiple stimulus, the item chosen is put back in so they can pick it again. So no replacement. Okay, right on track there, Alyssa. Let's see. Skylar's got MSW. The item is kept in the arranged time it is picked. If the picked item is removed, then it cannot be picked. So picked a second time. Yeah. Janelle, switch your answer. Let's see. I'm choosing MSW as a number of times picked when presented with all options. Sweet. Yeah, you guys are correct here. So this one is going to be an MSW. And this is because we are looking at number of times each item was picked instead of looking at the hierarchy of them. So like which order they were chosen. So that would more be like our MSW. Oh, really nice job.
I was gonna try to ask a question to see if we could get that word hierarchy out of them, but that's all right. You gave it to them.
For sure. That's a tough one. Sweet. So yeah, this one is going to be our MSW because we have that frequency. Awesome, really nice job, and yeah, great job providing rationales here too. Sweet.
Yes, with replacement. To be clear, yes.
Yes, this is what it's going to be with replacement. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, this one's like really straightforward. Like this highest bars are going to indicate the most preferred. So like iPad, I mean, pretty strong winner, very frequent winner. Then we see our finger paint had our second highest bar, and then kind of just down that hierarchy. Sometimes, like, I feel like if you were to graph this, like, you should just put them in order, right? Like, there's no reason to not put them in order. So it seems kind of silly that they're not in order. But that's just like make better. That's a Nick make better graph kind of person, kind of thing, I guess.
Sandra has a great question. I don't know how quickly we can answer it. How is this different than the reinforcement preference assessments?
Oh, I
So,
see. I believe we talked about that in one of our behavior binge bonanzas recently. So my advice would be to review that. If I could like pull up the notes, maybe. I think we talked about the most recent one. Yeah. So the most recent one on 810, we did our reinforcer assessments. Really quick is that like reinforcer shows if it actually increases the behavior. So the reinforcer assessment is a little bit more experimental, more scientific, and it actually tests reinforcement instead of just if it's cool.
one of my two main goals is getting people to remember that with an interval schedule, there has to be a correct response after the end of the time period, and the difference between preference assessments and reinforcer assessments. Those are two of my main goals.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I'm with you on the interval schedule journey for sure. Awesome. Well, I meant to drop this earlier, but I did just drop a feedback form into chat. I had a lot of fun here. Crystal, did you have fun?
I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, this was great. So yeah, if you'd like to receive the notes from tonight's session, go ahead and fill out that feedback form, and we will send those out to you probably tomorrow. So don't get too eager with us. Congratulations to our winners. We've got Tiffany and Moses Lynn won our Ultimate Bach Bundle and the Beat the Beast mock tonight. And yeah, this was great. We'll have to do this again. What do you guys think? Should we do this again? Like this dual stream with me and Crystal? I'll say one thing is really nice is like I still have my voice at the end of stream. It's so cool. Like usually I'm like
Nice
yelling over and over.
Yeah,
So it's like
sure.
it's nice to like split that up a little bit. Sweet, yeah, people love it. Awesome.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Lillian says we should do a behavior binge bonanza together. What do you? Oh.
Absolutely.
Well,
I'm down.
Stay tuned. You never know. Anything could happen on the understanding behavior world. Awesome. Well, again, congrats to our winners. If you did win, send me an email at understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com. We are doing our stream on experimental design on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, so stay tuned for that as well. And if you are looking for some really high-quality mock exams, check out the Understanding Behavior shop. I would highly recommend the Ultimate Mock Bundle that comes with the Beat the Beast mock exam and the mini mocks for mastering for just $115. If you go anywhere else, just the mini mocks are like $150, so it's cheaper and you get a full mock. Cool. I mean, it's a pretty good deal. You think it's a good deal, Crystal?
I think that's awesome. I was just responding to somebody in the chat. Somebody's asking about baseline logic. We're doing baseline logic on Monday, actually.
Ooh, today's
next
Monday.
Next
Next Monday.
Monday.
Okay.
Next Monday.
Yeah, well, actually, we'll hit on baseline logic a little bit on Thursday with experimental design too. So we can get a little sneak peek into that. And yeah, this was awesome. Thank you guys. This was our best stream ever, highest attendance. So thank you for everyone who made that possible. I hope you all have a lovely evening. Please join the Power Peppers group if you want to join study events for the rest of this week. Stay tuned on the Understanding Behavior YouTube channel, and stay tuned on the shop. We might have something, a new secret coming on the shop in like a week or two. So keep an eye out for that. We should also be getting more YouTube content up this week too. So if you want some more study videos, you know where to come. Understanding behavior.
Sweet. Tell your friends.
All right, it's like longest outro ever, but you guys are still here and we're having fun. So yep. I think we'll say bye now. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.